Claws out, this the fight that I've been craving. I know there's something inside of me, but it's been masked by fear and anxiety. But no more, I'ma break out of the chains. Let's defiantly. Go! I'm waking up, this ain't enough. All of my dreams were starting to rust, but I believe that I can adjust. Positive thoughts, I'm starting to trust. Nothing's deserved unless you work. Something of worth requires an urge. I have been hurt by those at their worst, but that gave me will, some power, a surge. And they know that I won't surrender, so they fear me as a contender. When I fight, they always remember, yeah. I will be known, I won't let go. I will not stop, I will be great. I will be known, I won't let go. I will not stop, I will be great. We came here to conquer, like we're monsters. We can last much longer, we do this for honor. We came here to conquer, like we're monsters. And we can last much longer. I am a hunter, I've been filled with demons and hunger. I am the thunder, I command the masses in numbers. Look at the fear in their eyes, this is what happens when you are surprised. It's time to meet your demise, just call me Zeus and look to the sky. Everything's amplified, no they cannot deny. I will be rectified if you dissect me. Find scars, teach you left behind, injuries that define me to my core. They'll hear me roar like never before. The pain I absorbed, it's feeding my core. I'm hard to ignore, I'll beat down your door. If you wanted war, well then you got war. And they know that I won't surrender, so they fear me as a contender. When I fight, they always remember, yeah. I will be known, I won't let go. I will not stop, I will be great. I will be known, I won't let go. I will not stop, I will be great. We came here to conquer, like we're monsters. We can last much longer, we do this for honor. We came here to conquer, like we're monsters. And we can last much longer. Out, cause I'm here now and I'm staying. Claws out, this the fight that I've been craving.
Hello and welcome to the Marko Yamashita Show. I am your host, Marko Yamashita. Thank you so much for your patience. I had a little bit of technical issues setting up the game to, in order to get to stream properly. However, I also wanted to present the game, or the prologue rather, in its most clearest form, or its best performance or best quality form. Not so much push the quality, and not so much performance wise. Because this is supposed to be, it's not going to be a final representation, but this is the direction that they are going for. The remake slash bringing the original Alone in the Dark game into the modern audience. Umberto, welcome. Yes, Shy, welcome. Thank you for dropping in for me this evening. I'm glad that you were here this morning as well. Let's see here. I don't want to block everything, but I think I'm okay. If I start blocking the picture too much, I will I will definitely move myself a little bit more, but I think I'm okay. So, a little bit of background with this game in particular. This game does not take place in, like, modern society. This takes place, I believe, in, like, the um, 20s or 1920s or 30s. Um, and I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. I'm actually, I'm still on a good run from this morning, and I have been able to, kind of keep the momentum and positivity going. I actually felt a good amount of relief and things coming off my shoulders after talking about Fuamoko this morning, because it had it the whole thing with their former lives and everything like that was extremely hard for me. And like, I know they're streaming right now and that they're singing tonight, and they're doing Hololive karaoke. However, hearing Fuamoko's voice when they sing, I went back and listened to some of their karaoke that I had recorded from last year, and I couldn't handle it. So that's why I decided to go ahead and push forward with the stream tonight, because I know that they're singing. I know that, I checked in their waiting room before I started streaming, and there was already like 4,000 people in there waiting for them. And I I know that they're getting tons of support from people, that there are a lot of people out there that are cheering for them. They have a great audience. They seem to be attracting the right people. If they happen to archive it, I'll try to watch it then, at my own pace. But if not, then that's fine, So, I'm okay with not necessarily being able to see them tonight. And I know that tomorrow they're doing Sakura Wars visual novel. And I always loved listening to them read and kind of role play the visual novels that they they did Sakura Wars. They did at probably closer towards October. They'll probably start, if they have permissions to, they'll probably start doing the When They Cry visual novels. I don't know if they have permissions to do it, but if they do, that they'll probably start off with that, because they went through a lot of that visual novel on Sundays, when at their former place. So yeah. So let's get going with this prologue demo. And I know that it's titled, it's subtitled Grace, and Grace is going to be the main central character point for the prologue here. And she's not, from my understanding, she's not necessarily going to be, she's going to have like reference to it. And see, there's the original Alone in the Dark script. Oh my. What's she doing? Oh. Okay. That's interesting. Oh. What do you hear, Grace? Okay, so we're hearing strange noises. So that intro is actually pretty interesting, because there was a lot of symbolism with that intro. because she literally took she's literally taking the script of the original Alone in the Dark, and she wasn't necessarily like ripping it apart to like destroy it, but she took the original script and she's fashioning a mask that she looked through. She actually looked through the mask and she was looking through the mask that of the original script that she was putting together, and it's kind of like that they are they're taking the original script and they're fashioning a new entity and a new identity for it. So I wonder how much of the original script and the original game is actually going to play relevance in this remake / reboot. That's very interesting.
I can't wait to paint this. I'm gonna give it a big mustache.
Big mustache. Okay. Well, the original character, I believe, the original male playable character, I believe, had a big mustache. So that's interesting.
Not my best work, if I'm being honest.
I mean, they did a pretty good job. This is for a playable demo. I have VSync on, just so I could try to eliminate as much screen tearing as there might be. And when I'm panning around, it's going to have a steady 60 frames a second with DLSS enabled. And they're oh, that's creepy. I think it's so weird, like how the toys from the 1920s look so creepy. I mean, look at that face. That is creepy. I mean, could you imagine being a kid and that's the toy that you've been given as a kid? I mean, that's. I mean, look at these dolls. I mean, they have porcelain faces and they look so dead. Oh my gosh. I mean, that is so creepy. I couldn't imagine giving that to my kid. Okay, let's see here. Overcoats. I find that's back in the day, they didn't necessarily have robes. They had sleepwear overcoats for their nightgowns and stuff, which was pretty interesting. Now it's just mostly like robes, but why is there a crow in our house? Oh, the door's open. Okay. I mean, the graphics look really good so far. There's a little bit of distortion when I'm panning around, but
Look at this mess.
yeah, what was that? That was just the wind, right? That was just the wind. They put a lot of detail into this. I mean, the books are even have titles to them. Look at that. And glasses. Okay, can we go in this door? Hey, Daddy.
You scared me.
What are you up to, Jeremy?
Oh.
I have to tell someone what is going on here.
Uh-oh.
I can try.
Uh-oh.
You're not one of them, are you? Please tell me, Grace. You're not a spy, are you?
What?
Spy.
What the?
The others, all of them. You're too innocent.
I'm I'm too innocent.
What are you talking about?
I need to get this letter to my niece. She would understand.
Just give it to the clerk, Mr. Waits, and he'll post it.
No, he could be in on it. What if he won't post my letter?
Then don't make it look like it's one of yours. Here, let me do it.
Yeah, there you go. Let the little girl write the letter for you, or write your envelope. I mean, you're already crazy to begin with, so it's gonna look like a child's writing.
Miss Emily Hartwood, Dauphin Street, New Orleans. You don't have the number? Not sure the postman's gonna find it without... Jeremy? Where'd he go? I'll just post it myself then.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Take this letter downstairs to the clerk's office myself.
I'm sure that the okay, got a key. Is this a save point maybe?
Oh, Cassandra, I'm touching your typewriter.
Okay. Very atmospheric so far. Very atmospheric, and again, I do have to remind everyone that watches that the time period that the game is in is the 1920s and 1930s.
Cassandra should be more careful with her medicine.
Yeah, that's probably full of codeine. Codeine and maybe some of the good stuff. You should take a drink of that.
I already washed my hands today.
Okay, well, let's go. Alright, well, let's see what's down here in this hallway. Oh, yeah, nothing's bad. Who puts this kind of stuff? Yeah, who decorates their house like this? Whoa! What the?
Oh no, Jeremy, what have you done?
Why aren't you freaking out more? Okay. Why did it suddenly go into a full eclipse? Okay. Okay, I need a key apparently. You're gonna make me walk through this? I mean, where at? Who builds a house like this and decorates it? I mean, she's walking around like there's nothing. I would be wetting my pants right now. Oh! Wait a minute! Hey! Stay? Wait. You told it to stay? Like this is normal? Little girl, who are you exactly? I mean, yikes. Like, yabe. Like, uber yabe. And apparently, I can't go back anymore. Okay, what's this? Is the bear gonna come alive? Okay, I push the bear over. Hopefully the creepy swamp monster doesn't eat us. everything's normal. This is my normal house, apparently, and we're used to this. Ah! 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 Don't fall. Come on, you can do it. Ah! 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 Okay, safe. Let's get the hell out of here. Oh, now you freak out. Okay. Yeah. A little sense of urgency there, little girl. I guess they don't know how to open doors, so we're okay. Ah! But they are trying.
I suppose this mess pales in comparison to the foyer.
Uh-huh.
Oh, night music.
Why do you have a post office in your house to begin with? Yo.
Wait. Hello?
We need a key. Key? Key, please. Key? We need a key. Key? No. Don't really want to go back out there. Key. Key. Oh, key. Key? Oh, she's climbing through the door. Okay, there we go. Wow. Okay. Oh, God. Okay.
I dreamt that my uncle hung himself in the attic, that we were too late. The house looked different, but it was still called Ursula.
Definitely a weird place. Feels like I've been here before. I just can't think why.
Let's not waste any time, Detective.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go get your uncle, Miss Harper.
Wow. Okay. So that is the playable demo for Alone in the Dark. You know, I heard that it wasn't too long, and it was actually pretty much shorter than I was told it was. But not bad. I mean, it's a good premise. It's very much a good premise. I remember playing the original one, and of course, you know, back in the day, the original one, was pure polygons and just various, I mean, it was very old school, very beginner 3D era type thing, and of course you weren't able to get the type of atmosphere that you can get now with computer graphics. So but I still remember, and probably because I was young, that it really freaked me out to watch all the stuff that happened with in the game itself. And let's see, let's put a generic time in there, date. Yeah, it comes out October 25th. So that's what? August, September, October. So 2 months. And I want to see, because I know that they put out a I know that they put out a couple of new trailers for it. And just hang on a second. So that's basically.
There's a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, where thousands of young to salvation have gone. Oh God, she knows I'm one.
Oh, that's creepy.
Don't let them get inside, compare. They're not the good kind.
Dusetto isn't cursed or blessed. It's a battleground.
Maybe the Dark Man just likes it when you suffer.
Have you ever talked to a doctor about your condition?
This is madness!
Are you crazy? Fall on your knees, wear the mask, praise his name.
Oh man. They
To the madhouse, detective.
they are really diving into like almost Silent Hill type of, Silent Hill meets The Evil Within. Because I don't remember, and it's been so long since I played the original, I don't remember Grace. I remember the detective, and then you can play as the detective, and then you can play as the woman that was looking for her, like her uncle, or looking for her relative, and you're a detective hired to look for her family member. But I don't remember Grace being part of the equation in any of the video or any of the game. But back in the 90s and early 2000s, trying to tell a story on this level was next to impossible unless you did like full motion video. And even then, like if you take the original Resident Evil 1, unless you had like wall-to-wall text crawl, you couldn't tell stories like this. So there is a lot in the storytelling here that is extremely I don't remember. So I don't know if they're adding to the existing lore or it. Wait a minute, I remember. Hang on, because I remember THQ put out a video here recently. It wasn't super recent, but let's see here. THQ Nordic. Oh my gosh, they have 25,000 people watching them sing right now. That is crazy. I don't think they've ever had an audience that big. Maybe they have. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's see. Let's get this widescreen. And then... Okay, it's captured. Okay, so here's the prologue release trailer, and we've already seen that. So this is an 11-minute trailer of the game that's coming up.
Don't say his name. He can hear you.
Now, I remember something to that effect about, you know, they had like evil.
He's always listening.
Now, I can remember that they did something like that. Now, see, the original game, it started off like this.
I dreamt that my uncle hung himself in the attic, that we were too late. The house looked different, but it was still called Dorsetto.
You know, and they made you walk up to the house from
I've been here before. I just can't think why.
from the road.
Time detective.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go get your uncle, Miss Hartwood.
The graphics and detail itself is just...
It transports you into the dark alleyways and into the night.
I mean, it's always trying to create a mystery, right? It's something that's more than just jump scares.
They are...
Fighting, demanding puzzles, and a lot of atmosphere.
They are
Maintained some
expanding on it
elements of the
so
old
big.
Games, but it had like an updated slickness to it that I liked as well.
You haven't seen a little girl by any chance, have you?
I don't think so.
You would have known if you did.
Yeah,
We
because
start our story much like the original.
Right.
Jeremy Hartwood is haunted by the Dark Man, and he goes
Yeah.
to a countryside hospital called Dorsetto in hope
Yeah.
to find some help.
Okay, so that's who that is.
She would understand.
Jeremy sends a disturbing letter to Emily Hartwood, his niece.
His
And it
niece.
spooks her enough that she hires Detective Edward Carnby to find out what's
Right,
going on.
right.
Who are you?
Whoa, pardon me, excuse me. My name is Edward Carnby, private investigator. I hope you don't mind we let ourselves inside.
I do mind.
We knew early on that we had a character-driven story, so we needed to find some really good actors to make those characters come to life.
Yeah.
I knew of past iterations of the game. I mean, the video game world is something that I'm very interested in general, the horror game genre specifically.
David has a really strong presence as an actor, and he's able to make the funny moments really funny, but also the dramatic parts really intense.
I heard that they hired two very good voice actors for this.
Hearing that damn voice! I know what it sounds like. But it's not what you think.
He's kind of a gruff detective, and he's like searching for something, and you know, he's hard-boiled, but he's got some humor to him and stuff like that. He's a bit of a trope or a type.
Right,
And
he's an
I
archetype.
like that, and I like the world and sort of how he's exploring this insanity amidst all this horror and stuff. I liked all those aspects.
Let me know if you find her. I'll be around.
Emily Hartwood has a closer connection to the plot, as she's Jeremy's niece. And therefore also suffers this strange affliction known as the Hartwood curse.
I love the mystery of the game. I love the picture of her. Like, there was so much about it that I was curious of. There's a lot of fear within her and a lot of speculation and curiosity and I guess...
So, you know, Jodie, this actor here, her voice fits the era a lot better than what the detective's voice, at least in my opinion. The detective sounds more modern, and maybe they kind of went with that by design, so people could have someone to relate to when you're playing, because I mean the original ones didn't have voice acting; it was all reading, right? And you had some text crawl, but then there was a lot of just, okay, you need to go find this, you need to go find this, you need to go find this, go to point A to point B. And a lot of this lore and world building that they're doing just did not really exist in the original games, right? So the fact that they are acknowledging that the characters and the perception that they want is to have a character-driven game where they want you to be able to live through those characters, as opposed to just we're doing another Alone in the Dark remake or sequel or whatever. It is very I mean, it's very ambitious. I mean, it's one of the original granddaddies of horror. So
intrigue, like there's a lot about her that is kind of on edge. 10 years now, and
they would still have a lot of the accents, even if you were in the United States.
She brings a lot of nuance to Emily as a character.
She does. I like her voice.
Who's in here? Show yourself. Yes, there is the kind of scary element, but then she still has to go on a journey and discover different things, and there should still be room to breathe and have a funny moment or a sarcastic moment or a moment of discovery. So it's just trying to really kind of keep all those other beats alive amongst the kind of darkness of it all, I guess, is how I felt anyway.
For her as an actress to be able to acknowledge that just by playing the role is very significant, because so many of these voice actresses, or just the voice actors in general, it's a job. It's a job. I'm voice acting. Okay, this is what you're supposed to sound like. Okay, I did my lines. I'm going to get paid. That kind of thing. But for her to be able to embrace the actual character and understand it, she never once mentioned that she was a gamer in that entire little segment there. Never once acknowledged, she never said she was a gamer, never once said she played the original. Instead, it was like she did a character study of the person that she was supposed to play. And for her to be able to do that and still be able to pull out exactly the type of person that the original character was in the original game, just through their script, is to me, that's impressive, because that means that it sounds like the people that are doing this, they get what the original was, and that's, I mean, that's reassuring to me, because I've played a lot of the sequels, and I just like, man, this is awful, So, but
so we're bringing back both Emily and Edward as playable characters.
Thank you.
Depending on who you play, you will get a different take on the same story.
That's great. That is very great.
React differently to you depending on who you
exactly play. Like how the original was.
Even the story
will
be slightly different.
What are you doing sneaking around?
So you should definitely make sure to play the game twice.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh.
The way that we reimagined the game was basically looking at the original, and it feels like we've been cultivating a seed that was planted 30 years ago, and
thank you.
Into something even more dark, even more sinister.
That's even better.
That with the first Alone in the Dark I made in 1992, we were basically doing something that nobody had done before.
Oh!
It was the first time that we could explore a big mansion, fight monsters, and solve difficult puzzles all in real-time 3D.
See, if you notice, the original detective that he's playing has a mustache, just like the little girl was talking about.
It's Derceto, I would say. Feeling that you're trapped inside.
Bringing back the original creator of Alone in the Dark and balancing him with the writer and game director of this one, I mean, that's brilliant.
Going on today, you are never sure what you get at the end. I think that Michael and the team at Pieces did a great job preserving the core feeling of the game. They even went further than everything I could expect 30 years ago.
It's really an
Wow.
honor to sort of be a part of the franchise in that sense, because it is such a, again, it can't be overstated. It's so special.
It
It was
is.
such a new experience. As a fan of the original, I wanted to bring as much as I could into our version. And they might have slightly different meaning and different reasons to be there, but if you know the old games, you will find a ton of references.
Yeah.
I know you from somewhere.
I remember you, Mr. Conby.
I feel the franchise is in good hands now, and I can't wait to play the full game.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I knew this was coming out, but I was my expectations were very low.
To give you a taste of what the full game will be, we also created a prologue, and it features a character from the game called Grace Saunders, who is a little girl, and you play as her walking around Rossetto and trying to post a letter. The prologue is the first glimpse into the atmosphere and the mood, and of course the story of the full game. So if you want to have a look, go and download it right now.
They're so creepy.
They could have done a little bit more with the prologue. I'll be honest with you on that. But I'm very happy that they. Wow.
Our combat is intense and tough, and you will need to use every bullet you can find.
Wow.
And if you run out of bullets,
I'm out of bullets.
you might need to get in close and hit them with a melee weapon. Or if you're lucky, you can find something to throw. As mentioned before, your job
That's
is to find
intense.
out what happened to Jeremy Hartwood. And to do that, you will need to visit some unexpected places. And to get to those places, you will need to find clues and solve some interesting puzzles.
I remember
If
the.
you feel like a detective yourself, you can choose how much you want the game to help you find clues and where to go next.
Okay.
So the biggest creative focus for me has, for a long time, been to reach something beyond the mundane, something spiritual. Mike, the director, and I, we spent a lot of time trying to figure out what musical direction we wanted to take with this project. And when we finally decided to go for this kind of dark routine jazz direction, our minds went directly to Jason, who is a master in this genre.
It fits perfectly.
Genre of music. The fact that it's inspired from noir films,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
A good explanation of why this music fits very well.
I was thinking like L.A. Noir. The.
There's a huge mountain and volcano of reverb with drums and screaming saxophone. To this explosion of hair rising and horror and big chaos.
That's cool. That's really cool.
As the players drawn deeper into the game world, they will face off with the sinister presence known as the Dark Man.
The Dark Man isn't real, Jeremy. There's nothing he can do to hurt you.
How do you think any of this is happening? How do you still not trust my words?
She was.
Fine.
Yeah.
Then let me help.
Don't be foolish. He will bury you next to me in his sunken temple for an eternity.
She was in the knot for a long time in that
Something is
game.
Definitely corrupting the mind of Jeremy Hartwood. Something very, very dangerous.
Very dark. See, now you know exactly where they got a lot of the inspiration for the horror games of the modern age, with the way that this is was originally, the original creator had in mind. Of course, trying to do that with 4 megabytes of RAM back in the day was darn near impossible. But I will get this when it comes out in October, so we can play it on the channel. Because I'm very intrigued. This was like, this was one of those that I kind of was on the fence about, because I was like, oh great, they're gonna mess up Alone in the Dark again. It's gonna be another dumpster fire. But between the trailers and the playable demo that they have, the prologue that we went through, I'm impressed. And if the gunplay is as nearly as good as what it looked like it will be, it looks very similar to Resident Evil 4 gunplay. So I'm stoked for this. I'm very stoked for this. It's the only gripe I have right now is this actor here. I mean, he sounds a little too modern, but I mean, I get what they were trying to do for the detective, so I could kind of let that go. But Jodie Comer here is definitely a good pick for it. Her voice and her attitude seem to fit the niece perfectly for the game. So I'm stoked for that. I'm very stoked for it. I'm hoping that we will be able to play it and have a positive a positive experience when it comes out in October. So I had originally planned on not streaming too long this evening, and I did kind of stretch things out a little bit here because I did not anticipate the prologue being as short as it was, because I was told that it was longer, but obviously it wasn't. So yeah, it's going to be a short night tonight, but I do have a couple of things that I do want to try streaming here in the next couple of days. I have a entire list of stuff that is backlogged that I originally had that I wanted to stream. Fortunately, we were able to get through all the financial reports and all that fun stuff this morning while I was just giving an update about myself, and then I kind of segued into that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cross that off my list, and then bring up anything as it's it comes up if need be. But other than that, we do have a lot of things that are coming up here as well. Like I said, this morning, HoloCure is having their big update that's coming out, so we're gonna give that a go once it comes out on the channel. I still have 2 games that I haven't streamed yet that I will try to stream here next week, going into next week. I'm still going to try to play things day by day because I'm still dealing with a lot of swelling in my knee. And, I need to keep my knee put up. And it's actually swollen a bit from all the streaming and activity I did here today. So I'll need to ice that down and see how well it reacts tonight, and whether or not it swells even more, because if it swells more than what is now, I'll probably not be able to do anything for at least a couple days. So other than that, like I said earlier as well, I still have Amnesia, The Bunker I haven't played, Ace Combat, I think it was like 6 or 7 I haven't played on stream. I want to be able to kind of dive into those and just give those a go through and see what whether or not they're enjoyable or not, and then we will slowly take things from there. and move along as things develop with myself and anything that comes up that is chat worthy. I also mentioned that, yeah, I'm definitely gonna try not to. Hi, Saged. Welcome. Thank you for joining us in chat here. I hope so too. I don't need any more I don't need any more bodily harm or injury to me. I'm already dealing with enough. It's like every part of my body is like hurting in some way, shape, or form, and it's like pretty soon I'm not gonna have anything to play games with anymore because I'll have to be playing it with my nose or something like that. It'll all have to be touchscreen. But also something I want to say here before I go. Because of the situation, my darling little sister is going through right now. In case you missed it, I talked about this morning. The young lady I always refer to as my little sister, my Imoto, the VTuber known as Hoshinon or Hoshino, Kanan Hoshino. She streams JST time at 8 o'clock p.m. JST. For me, it's like 6 in the morning. She's currently she's currently on hiatus because of an online stalker, okay, and somebody who has been seriously harassing her. I have offered to and I told her, I said, hey, if you want to play with somebody, but you don't want to stream because of it, and you want but you still want to interact and play with somebody, I could always stream in the mornings, since I'm getting up at 6 in the morning anyways, and now I don't have anybody to watch because you're not on, you're not streaming. I could always start streaming, and we can play whatever it is you want. You don't have to say anything or do anything. All you gotta do is let me know, right? So if you see me starting to pop up a little bit more in the mornings for me, in mornings, or for everyone else on the other side of the world, about 8 o'clock in the afternoon or evening, that's the main reason, is because I want to make myself available for her in the event that she wants somebody to interact with and play with, but is afraid of that person that's out there, right? So I remember you have dropped in from every once in a while. I remember that you have said a few things in chat. So I recognize your name, but you're right, you haven't said much in chat. But I appreciate the fact that you lurk in my chat. Lurkers are always welcome and on my streams. You don't have to say anything if you just are curious to see what I'm doing on the stream or whatever, or just want to give me the lurk, so it counts towards the metrics or whatever. I mean, that's perfectly fine. I always tell people I stream, when I stream games, it's not necessarily because I'm hoping to attract an audience because of my awesome gameplay, or because I'm streaming like the current in thing or anything like that. I'm streaming because I want to give people the opportunity to come and have a place to hang out. If they want to hang out and they want somebody that chat with, or they just or they're curious about the game, but they I know a lot of people, and I've met a lot of people online who have social anxieties. they don't talk, they don't interact with anybody, but they're pure lurkers because they're afraid if I say something in chat, people are gonna make fun of me, or if people disagree with me, they're gonna harass me or they're gonna bash me. I like to consider my chat, a safe and open space. So we're perfectly free to disagree on things here, and if we disagree, we talk about it, we talk it out. Sometimes I get heated and passionate because the person is being a little bit of a jerk, and but allow me to raise my voice. I will raise the voice on everyone's behalf. And I'm the one that ultimately has control over the channel. So you don't have to argue against that person who is just going to be keyboard warring it. So. But most importantly, I prefer to protect the people that want to come and just hang out here instead. So I appreciate it. I kind of wish I had that kind of place when when I started watching VTubers instead. There were a lot of times where I got bullied in chat. There are a lot of times I got bullied on the Discord servers, that were supposed to be, fan friendly, run by fans for fans, and like, no, it's run by, it's run by the stands who, if you dislike one little thing, they will trash you and humiliate you in front of people, and then they'll ban you, So, no, that's perfectly fine. I appreciate it. There's a lot of times where, like tomorrow, for example, Afua Moko, they're going to be streaming the visual novel, Sakura Wars, and when they I'm not sure if you were here this morning or not, but I knew both of them before they started at Hall Life in their previous life, and on Sundays, and I'm glad that they carried on this tradition because they had this tradition every Sunday. Yeah. Go Nippon. Hey James, how you doing? Welcome to the chat, James. Yeah, go Nippon. And every Sunday they would do they would do visual novel night. They would read they'd go through a visual novel that they were approved for, and I think all of them were from Manga Gamer, but that's besides the point. But and I would sit there and I'd listen to them read the visual novels out and do their voice acting, and then do their like little character things, and then they would talk about like the scene and what's happening, or they'd put in their own 2 cents about what's going on. They would always put in their own little quips and stuff like that. But I would listen to them while I was like playing another game, or I would be doing something else, because being able to just listen to them, especially if they're just doing commentary, or they're just they're reading the dialogue, or because the dialogue is not spoken in character. I mean, it's fine. I mean, that's kind of why we do what we do. A lot of times when I'm just chatting with you guys, you'll notice like behind me right now is a black screen. Occasionally, when I'm chatting with people, I will have visuals that go along with what I want to talk about. And that's why the screen's black right now, is because that would typically be where the visual is. But I try to be as as vivid in my explanations as possible, because if you're listening to me, but you need or want to do something else, or you're watching somebody else while you're listening to me at the same time, I want to be able to provide you with a vivid image that you can at least imagine in your mind. So, if something comes along, I say something that comes along, and you're like, wait, whoa, what did you say? What was that? I didn't know that. Wait, when did that happen? That kind of thing. And that's the response I want to get. I want to be able to get that response where I'm not just droning on what's, whatever the topic is. I want to be able to kind of be able to put out that image, so we're talking about it, and something, it sparks, something in your mind starts working, and then you're like, hey, wait a minute, I kind of want to engage in this conversation and give my opinion on it. And that's what I really like about, you guys that come in and talk, and a lot of people who are lurkers, that, they have the courage to say something, to me, or to the chat, especially when we have, 10, 15 people talking about a specific topic. A lot of people that normally don't talk in chats will come out and talk in chats because of the environment that I try to make for them. That way we can, we can talk about. I'm not afraid to talk about the fact that people have former lives. People have had former lives. I'm not doxing them. I don't know. I don't know where they actually live, what their actual names are, what their addresses are. Those types of things. I know what they actually look like, but I'm not going to share that information with anybody. You're gonna have to figure it out on your own. But I do know what they look like in person. But and I do know some things like what they've done before. But I'm very selective of what I say, because what I typically try to share is either public knowledge, or it's something that I feel is confident enough where I can share it with, and it's not so personalized that it will be something detrimental towards that person. You haven't checked into their previous lives, and you need to and I need to do my reps. Yeah. There's several clips of them out there. So there, and on their former channel, their membership, all their membership streams were public at one point, and the management decided to grant that to everyone because it was there was such an outpouring of support towards them when they graduated that management felt there were so many of us that had either donated or subscribed for one last month to try to archive stuff and so on and so forth. And management just decided, hey, look, you guys have done so much for these girls. We're going to open it up publicly for everyone so everyone can see what these girls were doing with the people that loved them, and right before they started at Hololive, the management informed everyone that they were privatizing that. So that stuff is privatized and locked away. But I believe the channel is still up there, and I believe that they still have some content up there, because it's not it's property rights of Manga Gamer, and not of anybody else. So But even if they haven't, there's a lot of clips of them out there as well. I was also kind of working on a little project, and I didn't realize that this particular situation was going to be in play, but I might end up having to check with I'm not even sure if that manager is still with them and got hired on with them, or if they had to leave their former manager and now have a new one. But I'll have to check with that manager to see whether or not there is still like if it's still okay to put up the videos I have that I was going to put up, or if they don't think it's a good idea. I don't think there's a problem with it because, I'm not going to say this is so-and-so and now they're so-and-so, no, I would tag it as, the old channel and the old people, but, you're glad someone else knows them. They had to graduate. Then they got big. Yeah, they got big very late, and it was because so many people were talking about them, and like they had such an impact on their fan base that they literally moved their fan base. They moved them to tears. They literally made everyone that was a member of the channel, subscribed to the channel. When that info got out, it broke so many people's hearts. That they were being, forced out by the company. And there was a lot of us that said, look, if Manga Gamer will give us a chance, we will see whether or not we can like pool enough money together for you guys to pay them so they can stay, because we want them to stay. We don't want them to leave because you guys don't want to pay them. We were like trying to do everything, reach out to their management, reach out to the people that run, their company. There was a lot of us. We were like, hey, we had people that were willing to donate thousands of dollars, just so they could get paid to stay there and keep streaming for us. That's how much people loved them. And unfortunately, and maybe it's fortunate, maybe it's that it happened for a reason, and now they're they've gotten to finally where they wanted to be, and everything works out in the end. I still look at them and say, I'm great. It's great, and I'm happy that they finally made it. I still lost the little twin sisters that I loved, watching and hearing, in the afternoons and evenings, and I always enjoyed it because it was like, I never had little sisters growing up, and so for me, it was always a great experience for them to, that they would argue with us and, get mad at us. And it was the perfect type of little sister tropes. They played it perfectly. They knew exactly how to be the type of people we wanted to interact with, and they were able to read their audience very well. So, what is this about Manga Gamer? So Manga Gamer was their former employer, and that they owned the rights to a visual novel called Gogo Nippon, And that's where that's where their original former lives, most recent former lives. Well, let me take that back. Their most recent VTuber former lives were with that particular company, and Manga Gamer was essentially, had this idea that they were going to create a VTuber group. And for some reason, they ended up picking the sisters, the twin sisters of a manga that was extremely old, a lot older than what they currently had, and that they were currently putting out, because there was a lot of manga that they could have picked from, and they were currently selling it and were currently being updated back then, when they first started. But instead, they picked them, and maybe it was because, they walked into the audition and they said, hey, we want these two girls. We just got to find the right characters for them, and they looked through their library and said, hey, I think this would fit them perfectly, kind of thing. I'm kind of thinking that's what they did, but they fit they fit it so well. And the fact that both of them are extremely, like, they're like extremely otaku, nuts, crazy about visual novels. They actually really enjoy them. I mean, they would, they could go on for hours and hours about, like, their favorite visual novels, what they like reading, what they have read, what they want, they have seen them and watched them and read them and played them over and over and over again because that's their favorite ones. They read manga religiously. They are like extreme. They are like you and me, and that's what makes them so. That's their appeal. That's really what their appeal is that they're relatable. They are so relatable. They're further relatable than, like, the gamer girl aspects of, like, what Ame and to the effect of, like, Kiara, and a lot of them are, because they radiate the idleness, idol culture. They radiate the idol aura, but it's not so powerful and blinding that they are elevated and from, like, just you and me to, like, they are up here, above us, and we're down here. I mean, it's not like they're talking down to us. They never talk down to their audience, their listeners. They never, even when bad things were happening in their chat, they never talked down to their chat. And it was so impressive, they would lecture us, especially when somebody would get perverted, and start tossing out, that, like, oh, I want to do this and that to you, and, I want to, tie you up and put you in my, car and do whatever, I mean, they would literally, they would literally, like, scold their chat, for talking that way. But they did it in such a way that, I mean, they literally, how, like, a lot of the Ian girls. They're like, yeah, I hate those aunties as much as you. Yeah, you know what? But I'm just gonna kill you with kindness, because I mean that's how it is. You're gonna sit there and you're gonna rant and you're gonna say all these F words at me, but I'm just killing you with kindness, because I'm not gonna play your game. I'm not gonna, but yet they're throwing attitude at you, right? Especially like Kiara and Mori and Bay, right? But you take Moko and the way they scold you is so kind. It's like they almost make you feel bad for just like getting obnoxious. Because there was one time that someone was being dirty like that, right? And someone was being dirty like that, and they kind of stopped what they're doing, and they're like, you shouldn't say that in chat. You have so many of your fellow friends that are sitting here and enjoying what we're doing, and why would you come in here and start talking that way? Out of everyone that you decide to pick on to talk like that, why are you talking to us like that when you know that we're not like that? We're here to enjoy our time with the other travelers. We're not here to we're not here to talk dirty to you. We're not going to talk dirty to you. We're not going to acknowledge that you're talking perverted. You need to stop that, because at the end of the day, you're going to feel bad about yourself even more. And we feel bad about you just talking that way, because we know that's the only way you're getting attention right now. And you sit there and you think about it, right? And you're like, oh my gosh. She literally ripped that person apart, but she said it in such a kind fashion that how are you going to respond to that? Especially if you're like trying to instigate something, how do you respond to that? Anything you say is basically going to be like, is going to make you look even more foolish than what you already how you already look to everyone else, right? And what you're trying to do is you're trying to provoke the streamer, and you're trying to get a reaction from them. But the type of reaction that they give you was so kind-hearted and so sincere. It was like, bro, you lost this. You just move on. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, and that's why people absolutely love and adore that. That's why you hear so many people that are like that, who have that kind of attitude. They're like, oh, this is cringe. This is cringe. I mean, why are they acting that way? They're not really like that. And it's like, no, bro, you obviously have never been, don't know who they are and what their prior streams are and how they act in front of people, because they have an entire year's worth of library of videos that proves you wrong, because never once did they ever lash out at people at all, ever. And like when they would kind of like fight with their audience, it was always in a playful fashion, especially like Akira, she'd always like say her tummy was hurting and stuff like that when she was playing horror games and whatnot. And she didn't like the head pats, because the head pats, she felt like, we were treating her like a little kid, and she's not a little kid and stuff like that. She would say stuff like that, and so when we would use the head pat emoji in chat, she's like, stop that, all of you, stop that right. Do you guys want to fight? Because if you want to fight, I'll fight. We'll fight. I'll fight you, and I'll win. You know why I'll win? Because you'll let me win. Because I'm cute. And we were like, and all of us would be like, "Yep, that's why we're doing it." And then Makoto would come along and now travelers, please don't spoil my sister too much, because after you do this, every time you do this, you spoil her so much with so much attention that after we finish streaming, she is just so rotten off camera that I have to put up with her for the entire night and the next day because you guys always spoil her, And she would they work so well together, and they're able to continue a narrative so well with chat and with each other that basically if something catches on with them, they'll run with it, and it will become lore, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If it catches on, and it catches on with them, then it automatically catches on with the audience and the listeners, and then the listeners embrace it, and it becomes lore. End of story. I mean, that's how it always went. It was brilliant. That's how it goes, exactly, and that's why the reason why I'm streaming right now instead of actually listening to them and watching them is because I took it extremely hard when they graduated, and I'll be honest, I got to talk to them briefly before or right after their graduation stream. And it was so hard to not cry when I was saying goodbye to them, because I took their graduation extremely hard, because they were basically my evenings. I would watch them. I didn't like watching anybody else when they were on because I really enjoyed watching them, and and listening to them and everything else, and so I took it really hard, and I had to fight back the tears of trying not to cry while I was talking to him, and I mean, bless their hearts, they both of them are extremely passionate about their listeners as well, which when them as quote unquote entertainers and performers cry for us because we're hurting, and that they realize this is something they have to do, and it's hurting us in the process, and they continuously cry because they don't want that to happen. That means so much, that tells you something about what they think about their audience, and that's why that audience was as soon as word got out and it started spreading of where they landed, that's why their audience just exploded, because people were so excited just to be able to hear them again, because so many of us were just months afterwards, so many of us were just hurt by them leaving. It was hard to just watch their VODs, and we just wanted them to hear them again, and more than anything, we wanted to know that they landed on their feet after they left, because for most of us didn't know what happened to him afterwards. All we would know is the occasional updates that their manager would publicly announce, but they didn't say too much, you know. So, you know, when word got out, hey, you know, this is where they are now, and they made it, you know, everyone was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, let's get the party started, you know, let's get over there and make sure that they know that we're still, you know, thinking about them, even though we can't call them that anymore, you know. So yeah, I'm proud of them. I'm happy for them. I know for a fact that they spent at least I think it was like 7 years trying to get to the point that they are at right now. And they've worked extremely hard for it. You know, and as much as I want, you know, the old life back, I'm happy that they're able to get to the current life that they're living, you know. I can't embrace it as quickly as most other people, because it's it and it's kind of embarrassing, but you know, their graduation happened at a very bad time in my life, where I had I was about to lose my uncle to cancer, and so it hit at the wrong time for me, basically, that they were leaving, and you know, it leading into a lot of other stuff that happened in my life personally, gave me PTSD, and I still struggle with it from time to time, where, you know, like, I watched them last night playing Earth Defense Force, and I absolutely loved it. It was the first time I had felt excited to watch somebody in quite a while, right? But then after they signed off, I immediately broke down and started crying, because in my mind it started playing back their graduation again, and I started panicking. And even though I kept trying to tell myself, you know, it's okay, that was their previous life, they're here now, they're gonna be on tomorrow, they're gonna be on in, you know, 8 hours, they'll be you know, they're not going anywhere, we know where they're at, they're okay, they're safe. But in my mind, I was replaying their graduation, and I couldn't stop it, and I just broke down. So it's gonna take time for me to kind of come to terms with it, and hopefully I'll be able to work through that trauma. And another aspect of it as well is I have a physical condition that I'm in the process of getting treated, where there is like some kind of like hormonal or enzyme imbalance that makes me susceptible to that, you know, that kind of you know, thing to happen. And so that, you know, they're working on things right now so I can try to get that adjusted, so it's treated with medication, so it does, you know, it doesn't trigger that kind of reaction. So it's you know, and it's frustrating for me, because like for the longest time, like, you know, when my mother passed, my father called me on the phone, you know, and told me that she passed, right? And I went down there, did her funeral, came back home and everything else like that. But when I came home, for almost an entire year, I was afraid of my phone. I was afraid of my cell phone. I couldn't have the ringer. I had to turn the ringer off because every time my phone rang, I immediately started freaking out, thinking that, you know, my father was calling me to tell me that my mom died again, or that someone else died, you know. And it was constantly like that for an entire year. And even now, I can you know, I can have my phone on vibrate, but it's really hard for me to have my phone on ring, you know, on a regular ringtone. So, you know, it's still something I'm working through, you know, but yeah, I'm excited for them. I'm really excited for them, and I hope that they do well, you know. It kind of makes it a little difficult to figure out when I'm going to stream as well, because you know, right now their current schedule kind of falls. If you notice I stream kind of at, you know, for me anyways, it's a little bit of an odd time to start streaming, you know, because I start at 7. I used to start at 7 o'clock, but then I moved it to 8, right? And I moved it to 8 on purpose because, you know, it really would fall and be right around the time where they would end streaming, and I would, you know, I would finish watching them stream, and then I'd start on my stream, right? And so I moved my streams to 8 o'clock, you know, but now they're streaming later instead of streaming, you know, when they were streaming. And so now it's kind of like, well, okay, I you know, if I do end up wanting to watch them again, I'm going to have to move my stream time as well. You know? It's 5:34 in the morning. I honestly don't know when you should stream. Well, that's just it. You know, my Japanese friends, my Japanese streamer friends, you know, I told them, I was like, you know, I wake up at 5:30 in the morning to watch you guys. You know, that's when I get up. You know, I actually, depending on which day it is, I'll get up at as early as 4:30 in the morning, right? And then, you know, have breakfast, you know, feed the cats, and, you know, that I have and everything, you know, and then sit down and, you know, one of the streamers that I watch in the mornings, I play mahjong with her, when she does her mahjong streams, and then my little sister, she starts at 6 in the morning, so then I'd watch her, right, and then I'll watch her all the way to 8 o'clock, and I told both of them, I'm like, you know, I don't have to get up this early. You know, I want to get up this early because of you two. You know, I don't have to get up this early. You know, and I'm not telling, and I'm not telling, it wasn't telling that to them to guilt trip them or anything. I said I get up this early because I want to see you guys. I want to talk to you guys. You know, I want to hang out with you guys. You know, you guys are my morning. You know, you guys are the reason why I wake up that early. You know, it's not out of obligation. It's not because I'm trying to guilt trip you into anything, or, you know, make you feel bad or obligated to me. It's because I want to get up and see you guys. You know, that's how much you mean to me. You know, and you know, they were very taken back by that, because it's like, you know, not anyone would get up that early just to hang out with somebody. But here I am waking up that early to you know, be able to hang out with them and support them. And, you know, I do that 6 days a week. You know, I get up that early 6 days a week so I can support them, so I can be there and you know, and you know, say, hey, there's at least one person out here that is looking forward to you streaming, you know. And that's how that's how I feel about Fuamoko as well, you know, because you know I would always lurk in their streams, but I would always like lurk in their streams and wait till they were done, because when they would read super chats, it was like an extremely fun part of their stream. You know, you know, they would it was always fun to hear them, you know, whether they read it or just said thank you, you know. It was always a fun time. So yeah, I don't know. I'll have to keep an eye on their schedule for a little bit, and if it doesn't change too much, I might have to try to either pick a different time to stream, or see if I can't work around their schedule in some way, you know. Either that, or I do have another computer where I could always, you know, record their streams and then watch them later, you know, especially if they're, you know, unarchived streams. Those are always the hardest ones, because you know, if you don't record them, they're gone. So, you know, but yeah. Anyways, so that is, I'm gonna call it a night here for tonight, and I'm gonna keep an eye on things for tomorrow, and if my knee isn't too swollen, and it doesn't give me trouble, I will play a longer game tomorrow that I haven't played on my channel yet, and it will likely be either Amnesia the Bunker or Ace Combat. There's also one other game I've been thinking about streaming, but I'm not sure how streamer friendly it is, because it's a bit of an RPG. So I'll have to. I'm still giving that some thought, but we also have that mech game that is coming out here towards the end of the month. Man, I can't remember what the name of that game is. Fires of Rubicon is the subtitle for it. Anyways, that game's coming out later on in a couple weeks as well. So I will be playing that. It's a FromSoft game, so it's supposed to be pretty exciting and pretty action packed. So Armored Core, Fires of Rubicon, yeah. So I will be playing that on stream as well. So when that comes out, I will that will definitely be something that we'll be going through. I'm kind of excited about it because I haven't played a mech game in decades. Since I was a kid, I haven't played a mech game that long. And just kind of watching some of the videos on it, it looks, very being able to customize and being able to do different things with your mech and stuff like that looks really fun. Loadouts and whatnot. Yeah, they are really good games. Yeah, I hope it's fun too. And I hope it's fun to watch as well. One of the things I don't mind on my channel is, I don't mind backseating as long as you aren't calling me a dumbass in the process. I may not be the quickest person when it comes to like button combos and stuff like that, So I do ask people to kind of give me a break on that. I'm not a button masher that's able to do quick time events at a brilliant perfect pace. Which is why I struggled with freaking Bayonetta 1. But I mean, I don't mind backseating if how I'm approaching something is completely wrong and you realize it and you're like, you're doing it wrong. or at least tell me, hey, you know what, it'll be easier if you do this instead, or like if try switching out your your cannons for rockets instead. It'll be easier. Doing those kinds of things, giving me that kind of advice helps me out because it helps me improve my game. I struggled in Splatoon for so long, right? And then finally, one of the JP bros that I played with for a while, he kind of said, Marko, if you switch out your gear and you use gear that have these perks instead with the weapon you're using, it'll be you'll be a lot more efficient and you'll do better, and I did that, right? I switched it out, and redid my gear and everything like that, and my performance and my kill ratio to death ratio significantly improved, and they gave me a few other pointers along the way about movements and whatnot. And it's like, hey, I appreciate this because when we're playing as a team, I don't want to be the weakest link. I don't want to be the one that's holding the team back. So I appreciate that. And when I'm playing against other people, I'd like to at least have a 50-50 kill ratio to death ratio. So I'm not detrimental towards my team at least, So I don't mind those kind of things, Yeah, exactly. You don't want to. You want to be able to have fun, and you want to be able to talk about the games, and part of talking about the games is sharing strategy. And I don't mind, I don't mind backseeing. If it's to the point where it's like you're telling me like what to do before the encounter happens, then that's too much. Let me get to the encounter, and maybe fail it or struggle, but and then give me the advice. But I mean, if you're already telling me how to defeat the boss before the boss even shows itself, and I don't realize the boss is what the boss is going to be, then you're saying too much. So, but all right. For those of you that are still here, I thank you so much for dropping in, Sage, Umberto. Thank you so much for dropping in. My analytics showed that some other people have dropped in and poked out. If you are still lurking here and haven't said anything, thank you so much for dropping in as well. James, I know that you were here at one point. I don't know if you're still here. Thank you so much for dropping in, my friend. I appreciate it. I appreciate anyone who knows the girls from before and is just as happy about the girls where the girls are at now, like I am. So thank you so much for dropping in. Lurker, like I said, lurkers are always welcome. If you feel compelled to say something, don't be afraid to say something. If you feel uncomfortable talking, you don't have to talk. It doesn't matter to me either way. I appreciate that you're here, So please keep an eye out on Twitter and on the community tab. I always try to post the waiting room for the next stream on both of those, so you guys know in advance, at least 5 to 8 hours in advance when I'm going to stream again. I try to post it up there to give you guys advance notice. So if you have time to drop in, or if you can, great. If you can't, I totally understand. But yeah, we will look at probably playing Amnesia the Bunker or Ace Combat on the next stream, and then we'll just kind of play it by ear until Hollow Cure comes out. So, and once that comes out, we'll dive into that, and we'll see what they added. Because I'm really curious about the whole kind of farming / Animal Crossing type aspect of what they're adding. It's interesting that it came completely out of left field, and I'm kind of wondering what how in depth have they made this totally separate part of the game, so yeah, me neither. So thank you guys so much for dropping in. You guys have a good morning or afternoon or evening, whatever it is for you. I appreciate you taking time out to hang out with me tonight. For me, so we'll catch you on the flip side. Please keep an eye out when I post the next room. Thank you so much for dropping in, guys. So yeah, we'll call it a night here. Until then, this is Marko Yamashita signing off. Peace. Take care, guys.